Oh.
Whenever we plan something like this, I have that like child birthday party feeling. Where like, are they going to show up? Are they going to show up? And at a lot of my childhood birthday parties, they didn't show up. So this is very meaningful to me. And you're the first people to get your hands on this book 2 days before. So if you want to leak anything, no, I'm joking. Please don't leak anything. Please don't leak anything. It is a real honor and privilege to be with you and to share a lot of the memories. You saw some of them there on screen, some of them joyful, some of them painful, some of them confusing, some of them I don't actually remember being at, but apparently I was. And yeah, we're gonna have like just a kind of relaxed slumber party energy tonight. That's what we're going for. So I don't know what the vibe is in Philly these days, but when I was in my youth, because I'm gonna be 40 next month, you guys, does that make some of you feel like you have been aging? We've all been aging. And when I was part of the book that is actually about a boy from Philadelphia that broke my heart. Thank you, but it's okay because he came back later and I was no longer available. And that's what usually happens if you stay put and you play the long game. If you take anything from tonight, it's that. Stay strong. Drawing I made of him. Laminate it and write him a postcard that said, I don't know if you remember me, but I do think that when we come across affectionate memories of someone, it's nice to share it. If you don't want this, you can throw it away. And if you do, remember that in kindergarten, I loved you very much. And you guys, he wrote me back the most beautiful letter about like the nature of time and seeing me in high school and knowing that I was having a hard time but being too scared to say anything. I spent most of my time writing this book in bed. I spent most of my free time in bed, and it felt nice to kind of give you guys an approximation of my universe. I think a lot of us feel safest in our bed chamber. Shout out if you're a bed person. Oh my God, we found our tribe. So the best is that I get to invite some of my friends out to come and hang with me in bed. And it's amazing to start the tour with someone who, she is one of my dearest friends. She helped me through the process of writing this book. She's a New York Times bestselling author. She is an actor. She's an activist, an entrepreneur. And she's my only close friend who's a real verified supermodel. But the best part is that she makes everyone around her feel like a supermodel. And so I would be honored to invite Emily Radikowski, the M. Robin.
That was a very nice introduction.
Hello.
Philadelphia.
Hello, Philadelphia.
Hi, y'all. So I'm so excited to be here.
It's such an honor.
I was just thinking that section that you read was around the time that I read a first draft of this book in 2020, which is a fun fact.
Because
COVID has really fucked with my sense of time and reality.
I know every time I hear 2018, I'm like 6 months ago in 2018.
So I wanted to hear about how you started writing, what was the impetus, and then how did the book evolve over the years?
Thank you. I knew you would ask thoughtful questions, and this is why we bought her. I started the book in 2018. Yay! We live. And I had gone, and it was interesting because part of the kind of magic of Girls, although in the book you'll also hear about some of the challenges of making it, was that I was always sort of writing experiences. There was such a need for kind of constant material that I was writing so many experiences as I went, which could be both very therapeutic and very confusing. And so that's what I was used to, was taking whatever I was going through and just putting it on the page. And my first book, Not That Kind of Girl, had taken 9 months to write. So I was under the illusion. That's that 26-year-old mojo for you.
That's Lena Dunham, I think. Everybody doesn't have that mojo at 26.
Sweet.
But
I feel like when you're 26, you're like, I pulled an all-nighter, I went to work, I crushed, then I volunteered for 6 hours, then I slept for half an hour, and now I'm back. And that's not what it's like to be, not at 26.
Well, we're making up for it now by doing everything in a bed. So.
That's exactly right.
You pay for it later.
That's exactly right. So in the hospital, and I said, Mom, I would love it if you could, this is such a delusional thing. I said, Mom, I'd love it if you could take all these sort of chapters I've written and, roughly, can you just kind of organize them for me in chronological order so I can send them to my editor? And she was next to me just being like, oh no, oh God, oh Jesus. And then like calling me, Tip, she wrote about the insert thing here. And I could see her, what she was trying to express in mom language was like, these are unformed feelings and thoughts. Like you do not, and I think one of the magical things about aging is like having more of an understanding of the gift of hindsight.
Yes.
Like when people said hindsight is 20/20 to me when I was 20, what does that mean?
When I was 13?
Yeah. But it's a magical gift. Like there's a Tana French quote, time works so hard for us, that I use in the book. And it's like, there's so much that if you just lay it down and then wait, like it's like watching, a magic eye picture come into focus. And it was also really important to me that the book be more of a reflection on there's parts of the book that are a reflection on sort of our cultural relationship to fame, our cultural relationship to women and illness, about the experience of working in Hollywood as a very young female person. But there's also a lot of the book that's about sort of trying to locate yourself in a dynamic where you've lost yourself. And it had to be sort of free of blaming and shaming others, but really dig in, and that took time. So.
Right. I just wish we all had that magical, your mother. I wish I had your mother. But also sort of the feeling that you
I wish I had my mother too, but she belongs to the world.
I'll call her up and get advice. No, but it's awesome that you did get to a point where you were able, because the book is so personal, to say, okay, now this can go out into the world.
And of course I had a moment like 3 days ago where they were all printed. I was like, did you just ruin your own life? You have such a nice life. It's gotten so nice. What are you doing? But the thing that's really beautiful is then the connections that you make with people through doing, and that happened around my last book, and that was the magic of the people that watched Girls, is all of these things that felt so terminally unique to me, realizing how many of them have dealt with them, how many of us have dealt with them, and maybe it hasn't all been under such a specific kind of glare, but there's lots of people who have. Like that's something you and I have related on a lot.
Yeah, there's two different ways we can go. We can talk about how prolific you are and how much work you do, which I think is, maybe we should cover it, because one thing, I think it's connected to the last question and the experience of writing this memoir. Like, what is your creative process? How do you manage to do so much work? This is a personal, I actually just want to know for myself. What's your relationship to all that when you look back? Your birthday's coming up and you're letting this memoir into the world, but you also had a TV show come out last year. Girls was 6
You're
seasons.
excellent, and
Thank you. Shout out to you. So yeah, I would just love to hear you kind of talk about that.
Well, I think the big strand in the book with work is that it was sort of the thing that was keeping me alive and keeping me sane. And that's always
the lights come up.
and we have a series of questions to ask each of you, at which point we will let you know if you can stay with your partner or not.
Honestly, not a good idea. Surprise!
We're actually the perfect duo to do it.
Surprise.
Yeah, she'll be
all
that
the wives
hot.
knew, but
yeah. So all the wives knew, and they brought them anyway. So, but there's this moment where she talks about a writing class that she took early in her life, and then sharing a short story and having like another undergrad boy just obliterate it, and saying like that was the last time I wrote for 30 years. And I think so many people have had that experience, and I always felt like this is mine. This is the only thing that truly belongs to me, and I'm not going to give up on it. And up around books and indie rock concerts is a real pleasure.
An indie rock concert.
Yeah.
That's something you'll notice from the book as well.
I do.
Indie men that she finds herself.
I loved an indie boy.
Still do.
I know. I'm past it, but just Pete, my husband, and his jeans from 2009. But I think but he stopped wearing eyeliner.
Hey.
He's in his cute dad phase, and he's taking it no shade to eyeliner.
You never know where you might come back around.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis is around the corner.
It really is.
You never know.
But I think so that's the beautiful part, is getting to do this and be with you guys. And I think the thing to remember, and you remember this too, is that when Girls started, the internet was untested Wild West territory. I mean, I still remember posting my first Instagram photo from the DMV, where I was trying and failing to get my learner's permit, during editing the pilot of Girls.
Oh, wow.
So we're entering this, like I'd heard about a little website called Twitter from an indie boy when I was 23, and went on there because I was like, my friends are posting their lunches. Like, it was so
huge shift. It was occurring sort of simultaneously. Yeah.
And it was so naive, and there was a real kind of like handmade innocence to it. And then obviously it shifted, and we were right in the middle of that shift. And I think we all felt it in different ways, but it was interesting. Someone who was closely involved in the show, who read the book, was like, it really broke my heart because I felt like we had a lot of fun. And this made me feel like you weren't having that much fun. And the fun was the creation, but everything around it was all of the complexity of a 20-something life sort of magnified by this new world we were in. And also, the response tended to be like, Allison's got the best hair I've ever seen. Zasha, iconic queen. Wanna be Jemima, gonna shoot that other girl. And so, I was trying to stay sort of like strong, trying to be like a mast for the others, but also kind of like dodging punches. And it was really important to me that the book doesn't sound self-pitying, because so many amazing things came out of that. My hope is that we live in a world where it's not just famous people who experience the brutality of the internet. Everyone knows what it is. Like, I know a 10th grader who's telling me that someone was sending her anonymous Snapchats. It's all of our universe, and if that...
Right, becoming a famous person, especially young, and I love what you do in the book of marrying, the breakdown of your body to your rise to fame and exposure. But there's also some smaller moments of just self-awareness and zero self-pity, of looking around you and being like, God, everyone's fucking sick and losing their minds. And we were talking about this last night. It's sort of become, the internet now in 2026 is a lot of like looking at famous people and being like, wow, everyone has lost the plot completely. So I just wanted to kind of get your insights outside of your own journey, which is, specific and everything else about fame sickness. Like, there's an amazing moment in the book where you're on a group chat with a bunch of famous women, and you're not treated very kindly, and there's a lot of weird things being thrown back and forth, and at the end you're like, but I couldn't really blame her. I think she was fame sick. And I was just curious sort of like where you are with celebrity culture and with what feels like, speaking of Gen Z language, everyone's commenting on every TikTok of, you know, the Met or whatever, watching from District 13. It does feel like that. Like, what sort of, and do you think you're cured of fame sickness? Like, what is,
Great. I really do think that not only is fame a disease, but our collective relationship to it. I mean, one of the things that really inspired me to sort of delve into that more in the book, and thank you for such a thoughtful question as always, was I read a statistic that said something like 83% of young people identify with being famous as a value, and that like it increases their value. And there are so many natural reasons to think that, because we see people who are exposed to it, they have in a world where it's so hard to find financial security and a life that makes sense. That is one aspect of it, but another aspect of it is almost like the same way that in, I don't know, 1872, our grandmothers were like, I better have, you know, 19 cows or my neighbor down the road will never propose marriage.
Now it's like 2 million followers and at least 3 viral videos.
That's that's the 19 cows of today.
Yes.
And I think it becomes a lens through which people, it used to feel like particularly women, but I think that's also changing.
Shout out Looks Maxers.
Shout out. You guys, my husband cannot stop being like, you're cat maxing today. Why did we let him watch the Louis Theroux documentary on the manosphere? They can't resist.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm very aware.
I watched 5 minutes and was like, I already understand. I know. But I think that men and women, it's a way to feel affirmed and to feel that you have earned your place in the world.
Because there's something so special about this memoir because it does feel like a way of ending a chapter. I will say, when I wrote my book, I had the same experience where I was like, oh wow, my 20s are over. Like, rest in peace. And I feel that through this book, it's sort of the same thing, and maybe we're dressed appropriately for the funeral of your 20s and 30s.
This is my RIP.
I would wear cheetah to your funeral.
This is my RIP. When I was in college and I was like making weird little experimental videos, I decided to stage my own funeral in the Oberlin church.
Wow,
and
Oberlin.
It's so Oberlin. Like, I was like, guys, if I lie down and you all come and do not even look at me, I'm gonna know just what it's like to be dead. And to my friend's credit, they took it very seriously. My friend Samantha from college is in the audience. Shout out, Samantha. Thank you for asking. What's next for me? So, considering the content of the book, this might be surprising, but I am, and also considering I'm married, but I am actually the new Bachelorette. And they said they wanted someone who they knew was scandal-proof and who sort of fit that classic American norm. And so I'm going in, and there's a very addictive, time-consuming, and space-consuming habit. 2 of them live.
Are they massive?
Well, the first one I got, he was 4 pounds when I got him, and he has now reached a healthy 115.
So
I'll do this, and then you'll do the other rosebud thorn. How does that feel?
okay, but you do the.
Okay, reality TV guys.
I
So
know everybody wants to know.
obviously the rose is Summer House, guys. And I have to tell you, I wasn't even that. The Scandival is what really got me into Vanderpump. We'd all marry books, wouldn't we? Yeah. And if that's not your answer, don't marry them. And then I'm killing the internet.
Yeah.
The internet's dead. It's gone.
It's fair. You do love the internet a little bit, though. It's a complicated relationship. It's just like all murders.
Yeah. Just like and it's gone. It's gotta go. But there are magical things about the internet. Sometimes, just when you think that you never want to see it again, like somebody shares a video of like a rescue dog being given a spa treatment, and you go, I love it here, you know?
Yeah, see, that's not, I like people falling. I like, it's not, it's evil. You're like, oh, animals. I'm like, oh yeah, that little kid ate shit. It's funny.
So are you. Yeah, we're not. We're abolitionists, and we do not want this.
Married, no,
anymore.
You know. Okay. Ooh, this is
Okay.
I feel
we have
that,
one more fuck, marry, kill, and then we're moving on.
But
And they're going to give me my would you rather.
By this. Do you know this?
Okay.
One?
Yes, I do. Okay. And I'm just going to ask you. It's going to fuck, marry, kill. your ability to feel guilt.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying.
I knew.
Do you remember the rest?
Yes.
Okay.
It's your ability to feel guilt. And then the other ones, because I wrote these, so I should know.
Marry and kill.
Okay, your ability to feel guilt. Your connection to a higher power. Or your libido.
Okay. All right. This is awful.
I know.
I'm gonna fuck my connection to a higher power. Like, I'm kind of good on it, but like we can have a few nights. Sorry.
Yeah.
Super not spiritual.
Or is it the most spiritual?
I'm like, I'll check in with you a few times, and then we're good. We're back on Earth.
Yeah.
And then I would marry. What was the second one?
Your connection to yourself, higher power, your libido.
Oh, I would marry my libido.
You marry your libido.
And I would kill my ability.
You'd reform your ability to feel guilt.
No, I would kill it.
Okay, great. We don't need it.
I have a Catholic Jewish mother and father. Like, I'm good on the guilt.
Yeah.
Like, we can get our own book moment. Thank you.
We're at the end. If we can take it back to the beginning, guys. Thank you. So I want you all to close your eyes and really focus on where you are right now. Let your legs sink into the floor.